Every president's first year in office tests the power of promise, marked with campaign pledges kept and those still unfulfilled.
We're going to keep up the fight until we get it done.
Before Joe Biden was even sworn in, he knew the coronavirus pandemic would largely define the beginning of his term.
To heal, we must remember.
Honoring the hundreds of thousands dead on the eve of his inauguration.
This is Democracy's Day, a day of history and hope.
The Biden-Harris administration launching a massive effort to get Americans vaccinated.
It's time to act. We can reduce suffering in this country.
Leading to the president's first legislative victory in March in the form of a $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. As 100 days in office marked more than 100 million COVID vaccine shots administered.
Go get vaccinated, America.
Still, many refuse to roll up their sleeves, even as new variants brought spikes and surges.
It's become a political issue, which is a sad, sad commentary.
The Biden administration's vaccine mandates for federal workers, contractors, and private businesses challenged in courts.
It's not about just go and get the vaccine, it's about having the choice to get it.
Rules and enforcement across the country a tangled web as U.S. COVID deaths topped 800,000 and normal never quite returned.
Do not wait. Go get your booster if it's time for you to do so.
Overseas, high-stakes challenges on the world stage as the U.S. rejoined the Paris Agreement, the international treaty on climate change.
The United States is determined to re-engage with Europe.
While also placing sanctions on Russia ahead of a critical face-to-face summit with Vladimir Putin in Switzerland. Yet it was Afghanistan that would move front and center after the president announced his decision to withdraw all troops from the country by the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely.
Underestimating how quickly the Taliban would take control, resulting in a chaotic and deadly evacuation.
I am President of the United States of America, and the buck stops with me. But I do not regret my decision to end America's war fighting in Afghanistan.
The president followed up on his pledge to combat global warming at a major UN summit in Glasgow.
We meet with the eyes of history upon us.
Climate also a key part of the president's domestic agenda, revoking a permit for the Keystone XL pipeline and halting new energy leasing in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Also keeping his word when appointing a diverse cabinet and repealing the ban on transgender personnel in the armed forces.
Transgender personnel, if qualified in every other way, can serve their government in the United States military.
On Capitol Hill, after months of negotiations and Democratic infighting, a scaled-back $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill is signed into law.
America's moving again, and your life is going to change for the better.
While the second half of the president's economic agenda, a massive social spending and climate plan, is now in limbo with no clear path forward, along with other major priorities still stalled in Congress.
Free the vote!
Like voting rights.
The people need the fur! The people act!
Police reform.
Ain't no justice in this town! Ain't no justice in this town!
Creating a pathway to citizenship.
The promise of protection for immigrant families. Nothing has changed.
And making Roe v. Wade the law of the land.
Abortion still needs to be legal.
With much still unfinished, the president will now take the country into a new year of change and challenges ahead of the critical 2022 midterm elections. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.